Hello all my wonderful YouTube viewers, I am Wardy and today I'm casting another match from the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice 2020 group stages that was not on the main stream. This is Maru versus Solar. In the top left hand side our red Terran player is Maru, and in the bottom right hand side our blue Zerg is Solar. And it looks like we're going to have some cheeky proxy play to start us off in game number 1. Just as these SCVs come across the map, hello to you all. I'm feeling way better than I did a couple of days. I'm feeling way better than I did a couple of days ago when I was fighting off a bit of a cold. Feeling way better now. Not 100%, but so much better. So really excited to bring you guys more content. As always, if you like this video, do consider liking the video. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you liked about it and maybe what you'd like to see me casting next. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. We're on our way to 15,000 YouTube subs. Thank you so much for all the support again. Really do appreciate it, guys. Thanks for being so freaking awesome. I love you guys. Okay, let's kick this off. There's two barracks drop down from Maru, proxied across the map here on Triton to get us going. Now, Solar has probably, if I had to pick a Zerg player that has a tendency to lose games they shouldn't lose against proxy racks, it would probably be Solar. Because he is just this player that time and time again, he looks monstrous in the macro game. Ling Bane everywhere, counterattacks, successfully killing all the mineral lines. How do you even break him down? And then a simple 2 racks sometimes just does way too much damage. So let's see what happens here. I mean, from the start, this is already a pretty late scout for Solar. Second Overlord is what's going to see this, and he is going to see this now at least. Sees the SCV, so he knows a little bit of what's up. He's already set up into the gas in the pool though, so this is more so just knowing to begin responding about now. He's going to pull a couple of drones. Just wants to try and delay the bunkers from coming up as much as possible, of course. Any delay on these bunkers can help you out so massively, so that's something to keep an eye on. Has 2 SCVs and a Marine. Starting to press forwards here. Some extra drones coming down from this high ground down to the natural. I'm just going to be seeing them really looking to try and push this back again. Really wanting to just stop this ahead of its time before the bunker can get up, etc. It is just 2 racks, so you don't want to go too overcommitted against this either, because there will be a transition from the Terran player. These Marines getting to work a kill, not bad at all. This Spine Crawler might be in some trouble, but you have already bought a good amount of time here. Right now, Zerglings are out. I still feel denying this bunker is pretty important. If this bunker goes up, you really generally do find yourself in some trouble. I mean, it gets up here, but there's no Marines inside it, so that's fine. 2 drones going down. It's not a bad defense, honestly, from Solar, as we do see Maru teching up, as mentioned, back at home into that factory already. He's trying to reposition as the Spine Crawler comes forwards, and yeah, too many Zerglings realistically, and Solar, for the most part, has held this off, but you got to look at the worker counts here, and Solar is down a couple. Yeah, okay, Maru hasn't got a natural command center just yet. We'll see if he can apply much more pressure. He's already lifted up this barracks, though, so it looks as though Maru will just go home, and a very non-committal play on this 2 racks here. Really nothing too crazy then. All said and done, Maru definitely puts Solar behind a bit on workers. That will help him to get this CC up a bit later on. And of course, Solar, one thing he'll be a bit afraid of is that 3rd hatchery will be a bit delayed. And actually, his barracks coming across to block this 3rd hatchery, so we are going to be seeing a scenario where the 3rd hatch might be very delayed here from Solar. So we'll see what he wants to do about that. He did get enough gas to go into Zergling's speed and then pretty much just pulled out, so no further intentions of really being aggressive before the... Oh my god, all the words are wrong. No further intention of being aggressive beyond the Zerglings. Just the Zerglings initially, although that's the barracks landing back down again, so once more the hatchery is blocked. Solar doesn't have the minerals to drop the hatchery down right away, so it's not a major issue. It's just Maru being annoying, because if this Rax drops down again, you know, he can just continue to be very annoying. The hatchery just sneaks in there, so Solar will get the 3rd hatch up and running. Maru's follow-up. A couple of Hellions. It was a Zergling-based defense, so if this was Roaches, you'd probably go into a Tech Lab and a Cyclone. Because it's Zerglings, you get those Hellions up. They help a lot in these scenarios, of course. And a Medevac on the way as well, so we'll see what Maru can do with the Medevac added into play. Gives you a couple of options, generally. As we do see this Queen firing away on this Rax, flying up in towards the main base here. A couple extra Marines from Maru coming around over to the left-hand side, and that's already an Overlord that's taking some pretty serious hits here. That will go down, and Solar will find himself supply blocked, and that's kind of a big deal already in the game. I mean, a supply block which breaks out into a 2-supply kind of bit of freedom, it's not a lot. So yeah, Solar just hurting a little bit right now as he pushes this barracks back, and it is the Marines in the Medevac with the Hellions to then support on the ground. Maru looking to get aggressive on the bottom side of the map here. This 3rd hatchery still just on the way up, couple extra Queens on the way over. Marines and these Hellions joining up together right now. You see the hatch taking a little bit of damage. Again, it's just Zerglings at the moment, which makes this more difficult to defend. The lack of creep here means that the Queens can't get across as easily. The Spine Crawler's pretty held back, so definitely a little bit of a struggle. Now you can see the creepers there as the hatchery finishes. Maybe this Spine could move even further forwards. That's exactly what Solar will do to help defend that position. Also sending the counterattack off and away across the map now. Up to the top side, Solar looking to try and pick up some extra damage here. And let's see, only a couple of Hellions. Potential for a surround on those. Maru responds. He pulls them back, and the surround just isn't there. Nice slipping away by Maru, who's going into an armory, something which Solar will see now with this scout. You'll also see the Banshees, so really good information here for Solar as 3 SCVs go down. Only 3 SCVs, considering the Hellions stayed alive as well. I mean, you also get the scouting information, so you get the info on the armory, the Hellbats, the Banshees. But just doesn't know. I don't know if that's really enough. This is a very powerful attack. Hellbat's able to morph in. Medevac from earlier still alive. The Marines from earlier still alive. It's a bit of a weird timing, but obviously it's been a bit of a weird game from Solar's point of view. You know, he was slowed down early. That 2-Rex definitely throws your usual timings out the window. Roach Roaring only just now completing as this attack comes in, so Solar is going to be building roaches. But he's already losing the Spine Crawler here, as at least the Banshee got taken down very quickly. Now the first of 5 Queens goes down. Zergling's trying to run in and fight wherever possible, but their Hellbats are such a frustration. The Medevac goes down now as well, so no more healing, an extra Queen from the high ground. And, I mean, how much do you end up losing as Solar? Even if you just lose all these Queens, it makes your follow-up so difficult to really execute. A Roach or 2 now popping out. Can you save these Queens? One of the 4 remaining goes down. 2 remaining on low HP. One of them got transfused. The other one will get attacked, killed, and that should be about it. 5 drones went down in the meanwhile, and there is a new Banshee showing up. And guess what? There is Spore Crawlers, but obviously a lack of Queens. And some of the Queens that are around have very low HP, so that's another snipe right there. Maru continues to pile on the damage. Worker count's pretty even, although Maru's army supply very low. Problem for Solar is, because these roaches are fresh, he has no roach speed, no upgrades on them at all. It's very difficult for Solar to go across the map here and realistically do a lot of damage. It's really, really difficult, in fact. There's a couple of Marines press forwards. They will get rid of those 2 Zerglings at the front there. 1-1 attack and armor upgrades coming up. The combat shields dropping down from Maru as well. And we do see some extra Queens from Solar coming up on the 3rd base. Maru, a couple of Banshees still coming down this right-hand side, thinking about just what they might want to get up to here as this Overseer continues off and away up to the top, all the way up in towards this natural expansion. Get that going. Combat shield's about halfway done. The 1-1 upgrade still coming into play as well. And there is the Spire from Solar dropping down on the 3rd base as we do see the couple of Banshees coming around. Queen's very quick to hit those Banshees and push them away up the right-hand side of the map, so Banshees will be pushed away. This orbital command going to drop down. Couple of Zerglings chasing some SCVs here, and there's the Marines coming across. The Zergling gets picked off. And again, 1-1 upgrades coming through. The combat shields on the way in. Couple extra Medevacs coming out as well. And still these Banshees back around into the middle of the map. Spire coming up. A couple of Evo Chambers on the way down. Some extra Roaches in production. At this stage, Maru's about to hit 1-1 upgrades, and Solar is kind of in a world of trouble. You know, Solar's getting forced into building a ton of Roaches. His upgrades are late. You can't come across the map and attack here as Solar. The Spire is about to complete. And that's maybe the one thing that he really has, right? The ability to go into, like, Mutalisk or something to harass. But Maru just has such an army already, and now he's attacking into, like, a set of Roaches, which are going to be 0-0. Roaches love to have 1-1 against these Marines, but they just don't have that, and yeah, you have Roach speed now, so at least they can move around. The Mutalists, what are they going to do against this attack? Well, really absolutely nothing. A few Zerglings will go and maybe counterattack, as they actually are going to be found by the Banshees right away. I mean, Siege Tank on the high ground, just the one, but even the one Siege Tank is going to do some decent splash into the center of those Roaches, making life so much more difficult. Maru's just going to go for upgrades, denies the +1 missile attack, and as the Lings came in from the top side, the tank's cleaned out, but I think Maru is very happy with what he's achieved here as Solar is pretty much just going to mass out on Roaches and just go for this, right? I don't think there's any real intention from Solar to do anything fancy right now, to do any sort of teching up or anything along those lines. Although he is rebuilding the Evo Chamber, it feels like he needs to do damage. He needs to do it ASAP, though. These Banshees are such an issue for the Roaches as well. I mean, Banshees are always a great way to play defensively against any sort of Roach setup, and this is exactly why. I mean, with the Mutalists here, the Mutalists should be able to get rid of the Banshees, but they are out of position trying to harass around in towards the natural. And Maru, as he sets up a Siege Tank, he's just starting to push his way in towards this 4th base, so Yeah, has the tank there to support. The Banshees are around. The middleists across the map are such a non-annoyance, right? There's only 4 of them. Really not enough to be that annoying, that frustrating. As another siege tank gets pulled back up into the center here. The rest of these mutalisks out over to the left-hand side now. A couple of SCVs starting to take some damage. Again, the Roaches and the Ravagers and the Queens, all of this pressing forward still. The Marines will stim once again. Still stemming forwards into this. A lot more Roach Ravager continue to go down. The Spore Crawler is picking up a lot of damage too on these medevacks, but yeah, Maru just continue to apply so much pressure. The middle is at the back from Solar. At least do get one of the siege tanks. Maru in the end is forced to lift up and get out of there. The Banshee runs out of energy. Cloak disappears, and so it will be cleaned out. But Maru feels like he's controlling this game now. You might look at the supplies and be like, well, Solar's got a good work account. Solar's got a good army supply. But boy, is it an army supply that's not really going to do well against an army that Maru has. You know, just the fact it's missing +1 missiles, that already hurts this Roach Ravager style. Maru's got 2-2 on the way as well, going to take an even bigger lead in terms of the upgrades. It's really looking problematic here as the Overseer contaminates up the factory. Solar doing whatever he can to buy a little bit of extra hope in this game. Any, one less siege tank, anything he can get right now as Maru stims in. This is basically pure Marine. Does Solar somehow, some way have enough as the Roach Ravager will start to make its way up this ramp right now? The couple of siege tank shots getting off there before the corrosive bars play cleanup, but now there's so many Marines, a few Marauders as well, even pulling the SCVs, but they're not even going to get far enough forwards to join the fight. They weren't needed, and Maru will push Solar back, and Solar finds himself running and losing some units on the exit as well. And again, you might still look at supplies and be like, well, Solar's okay, but it's the upgrades that are in Maru's favor. It's the composition of armies. Roaches are just not good, especially in even supply. And that's the thing, Roaches, that we say all the time, Roaches are supply inefficient. They really are. So equal supply of Roaches is really not good for you. And I think what's so crazy to kind of show you how far ahead Maru is that he hasn't even had like a high siege tank count against this army at any point. This is like pure bio winning out against this Roach Ravager. And that's just pure confidence here from Maru as he moves on forwards. A couple corrosive bars do connect on a medevac, another couple connecting as well. I mean, Maru will just keep on trading, and he'll be very happy too, because his reinforcement will keep coming across the map. His 2-2 upgrades are in play, and Solo knows there is no choice other than to type out GG. Maru takes game number 1 in this best of 3. And that is Maru taking the lead in the series. I mean, I think overall, a match which is fair. I mean, it's kind of a weird one to go into, right? Like, Maru gets off to a good start on the 2 racks, and it's not like he does crazy damage, but he puts Solar off his game. The Hellbat attack, definitely something Solar wasn't ready for. The Roach run was just finishing when that attack started, and that means the Queens are in so much trouble. You're building so many units, and the attack's really extended over a long period of time, so you're consistently in trouble. And just all those little things, plus the fact there was Banshees to help with the Roach Ravager style that Solar ended up playing as well. Maru just had, all the boxes checked and looked pretty good here in the first map. See if he can keep up that form going into a game number 2 against Solar. Bringing us into game number 2 in the top left-hand side of Ephemeron, we have got the red Terran player, Maru. Taking on the blue Zerg in the bottom right, we have got Solar. Game 2 of this best of 3. And Solar just, again, fallen. It's kind of a weird one, because, again, not like the Proxy 2 racks did too much overall. But that's the whole thing with the Proxy 2 racks. It's so non-committal. And Maru really did go non-committal on it. He kept his Marines alive, which made the Hellion push with the Hellbats later in the game much more powerful. He didn't, do anything too crazy. He had the CC coming up in plenty of time. The factory was on the way, so the Hellions were coming out. You can transition out of it, and that's exactly what Maru did after putting Solar into a bit of an odd spot, and everything from there absolutely kind of, started to cascade into Maru's favor as well. Game number 2, a fresh start here from Solar. Already, though, opening in a little bit of a different fashion going into the gas pool, so maybe Solar actually says, hey, I want to bring the aggression to Maru in this game myself anyways. So that's absolutely a possibility, as a drone here from Solar already coming down to the natural expansion, dropping down a hatchery, so gas pool into a hatch. Getting that underway here to start this off. SCV production continues. Reaper on the way out from the main base racks. And again, a couple of SCVs just going to go on a little bit of a wander around. See where they can get to. This Overlord from Solar continues on up to the top left side of the map. Again, also just trying to see what's going on. So absolutely, when you've got a pool first here, Maru's going to scout this with the SCV. The SCV scout will come in and have a little bit of a look around. We'll see the hatchery still building, for example. And that's when you know, okay, maybe I want to keep my Reaper at home, make sure that doesn't go too far forwards, don't let that get picked off or anything crazy. As the couple Zerglings of Solar continue along, they're going to come in this SCV, already in just a little bit of trouble there. Taking a little nibble from the first Zergling, and the Reaper now on the way onto the map. Maru trying to bring this Reaper down to the bottom right, protect this SCV. Keep that nice and alive. Factory building from Maru here, went into Reaper, then the Marine. Again, just you got to be careful. You can send the Reaper out a little bit, but you don't want to go too far forwards. Solar did pull out a gas, just one worker left there. So just link speed for the moment. We'll see if in the end there's going to be any sort of intention to go towards roaches. Doesn't necessarily have to be roaches right at the start, but maybe roaches just a little bit later on. As this SCV pulls back up into the main base. Second gas about to finish up, and a few SCVs jumping into this refinery. So Maru will not play a 3cc style either. He will keep the aggression up on his side from the early stages of the game. So setting up for that as this factory finishes up. That can lift, move over towards the reactor that the barracks is making. Hellions can start. And of course there's the starport to set us up into the next stage. So there's a couple builds. There's a lot of builds actually you can do off this 1-1-1 setup. You can go in towards a fairly quick stim and just get a Viking to zone out some Overlords early. You can play a Liberator or two to help out the Hellions in terms of harassment. Liberator goes one way, the Hellions go another. There's obviously always the option of adding on an armory and going for some kind of a Hellbat attack. So again, really just a few different options here as the Reaper out of position. A couple of Lings did come in for a single. Was it the Marine or was it the SCV? Get some SCV. And meanwhile, the couple of Hellions now out, so the Lings won't do much more. And look, even Solar actually playing very safe here, getting the Overlord speed up as well. Really wants to get a scout in towards the main base and see, oh, what's going on? What are you up to? What are you building right now? Is this Viking currently about halfway done? So that will continue as a bit of creep. Trying to press forwards, but it is denied pretty quickly by the Reaper and two Hellions. They don't want anything to do with that creep spread. They want to slow that down as much as possible. It's a really nice creep team to kill. Creep team early in the game like this really slows it down. You know, it's extra energy off the queens right from the get-go. And in the end, we do see the starport going to be a Liberator opening from Maru. So again, Hellions one way, Liberator another. Really just opens up a couple different options. It's a Liberator after a Viking, sorry. So it is Viking first to clean out the Overlords. And again, that typically means a faster stim pack. You know, it generally just means that you're going to use this Tech Lab on the racks. It's not super gas intensive like something, I mean, like Cloak Banshees are a little bit more gas intensive because you're getting Cloak and Banshee production. You know, or something, you know, sometimes you can, I mean, really weird to get a Raven as TvZ nowadays, but like Ravens are also quite gas intensive, etc. So this one just really allows you to get stim early and then the third CC behind it. And of course, then you just have a nice transition in towards bioplay. As here come our Hellions onto the map. So there's 8 Hellions, and again, there's commitment to a few more than usual. I mean, 6 is kind of the standard nowadays. But a couple more than usual. It does delay the racks ever so slightly, but again, it works well with this Liberator that was made. Because now you've got a real threat at the front with these Hellions, and as you put on a threat at the front with the Hellions, the Liberator really is a threat in the main base too. And you really make these queens wonder about where they're going to go to defend. In fact, this Liberator is going to go on the third base, but guess what? Hellions are going to the natural. Now the Zergle is here. They'll be a big part of this defense, but with 8 Hellions, that's where the extra damage can really come on through. Good movement backwards here so far by Solar, but Maru will still have 6 Hellions ready to strike this mineral line, although a couple extra Lings coming back around. Here come the drone kills. 8 down already, and now Maru into the main base will just get one more line of drones, make it 9, make it 11. Actually getting a lot more shots off towards the very end here than I thought he would. He gets 12 kills, which actually, all things considered, isn't super crazy. He gets 13, so he's had 14 drones and 20 Lings for 8 Hellions and a Liberator. Resources lost-wise, that's actually not so bad. However, Solar is going to be, you know, taking map control. Now, actually, I would say the worst thing here maybe for Solar is that he is down on workers. Maybe 14 drones is just about where you want to be. You know, resource loss is even. Obviously, you slow down the Zerg economy. I kind of want to believe it's not super great, but actually, I'm kind of looking at this. Maybe Solar just dies to the 1-1 push. Yeah, I guess because he killed the Zerglings as well, and then Solar had to make even more Zerglings before he was making drones. If Solar's already remaking drones while he's losing those drones, it's a very different scenario, because if those drones are already being remade, he comes out of this, what, 6-7 workers ahead. But because he's been remaking the Zerglings, because he lost a significant number of those, and there was a lot of Hellions still around, I think that really makes a difference as to whether this was somewhat survivable or not for Solar. Now, as Maru makes his way across the map with the first 2 medevacs, I'm very afraid for Solar because it doesn't feel as though he's had the economy up to really help him out with this. And he is opting for kind of a heavier tech style. Lair came up well before Evo Chambers, so Alien Speed's going to be done pretty quickly. That at least will help against the drop. But then the Spire coming up as well. Problem is the lack of 1-1 will just make it so difficult for Solar to trade throughout this game. Maru sims in, somewhat expecting to see a 4th base, but then he doesn't see it, he just turns around and gets some creep spread instead. Maru up in supply, always a good sign for the Terran players, as he doesn't take his gas on the 3rd base just yet. He might just power up to 8 barracks, and he might just go for the full-on kill move throughout the course of this game. 2 more medevacs down the left-hand side, a couple of creep tumors starting to be picked off. Just pushing this back a little bit. The reinforcements here, especially with this siege tank, really powers up this army. Gives you a bit more zone control as the Terran player, and maybe allows you to, again, push forwards and bait some shots onto that siege tank a lot. Here we go as we have the Lingbane wanting to move in there. Instant cancel on the 4th base as Maru goes very far forwards. I mean, Solar's just running away. Maybe at least just waiting for the Mutalisks. As we do have the siege tank getting ready, setting up into a little bit of a corner right now. A couple of Queens. And she getting shot down already. Here comes the Lingbane right about now, starting to run on in. The Mutalisk flying into. The tank won't last very long as Maru sits in the corner. The Banelings, are they all gone? Are they all used up? It looks like they are with 1-1 here. Maru target fires down the rest of the Banelings, and that is going to be it. 1-1 upgrades on these Marines are just a little bit too much, and Maru will take game 2 and the series. Maru wins this one out, and actually just looks very good in doing so. A couple games where he just has different ways and gets ahead, and from that is just able to close the game out. Just next attack almost. Looks very, very good. It took a little while longer in game number 1, but second game, played it just straight away. First drop, didn't do too much. Second reinforcement drop, boom, too much army. 1-1 upgrade advantage, and he just shuts this down. Maru is able to take this, and that's going to be a 2-0 victory for him. Just to quickly mention, I don't know when the next YouTube cast will be. I might do one over the weekend, I might not. Just as a little heads up. Obviously, we'll still upload some stuff from the stream on other days. I just also wanted to let you guys know that we've announced the big WardiTV Spring Championship, and that any support on our Patreon page, patreon.com/WardiTV, will be going towards that. So if you want to read more about that, it's available on my Twitter, etc. Or TL.net. There's a WardiTV Spring Championship post there. That's where we announced it. And like I said, patreon.com/WardiTV. Any support there is going towards our big WardiTV Spring Championship. $7,000 on the line. Obviously, that's actually going to be starting on the stream next week, and eventually will end up being uploaded to the YouTube as well. All the best matches, of course. So guys, thank you so much for watching today. Just wanted to mention that at the end of the video here. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Go slay it this weekend, guys. Have a great one, and I'll see you next time.